Well, welcome. So excited that you are here today. Dr. J. Calvin Tibbs with you, the relationship doctor. And we've been focusing on championship couples. So let me tell you why you are here. You are here if you are married, you are here if you are engaged, you're here if you're single and want to be married, you're here if you're a single or a couple and you're not yet married. So if that's you, if that fits any of your interests, then welcome to the right place. What we do here is we help people love and live, because it's one thing to live, it's another thing to love, but we help people to love and live their most meaningful mission. And you know what that includes? It includes married, unmarried, and spiritual relationships. So, in the event that you have a spiritual relationship that is also on the outs, it's not working right, you wonder where Jesus is, or you wonder where God is, and you're trying to figure it out, you're probably going to want to stay tuned too, because the limiting beliefs, which we're going to talk about, are definitely connected to why this is going to help you in a huge way. So let's take a look at this championship pedigree of which you are a part. A champion is a person or a team, we've added, who has defeated or surpassed all rivals in a competition. NBA Finals recently finished. Of course, up next is Major League Baseball getting kicked off. The NFL is getting, well, it's already working, the MLB. The football season is about to start, you know, the whole cycle of things. And then by the time October comes around, when baseball is ending, basketball is starting again. And in a month or so from that, the NFL is headed into the playoffs. You know, that's the system of entertainment in the athletic world. I never really looked at athleticism as entertainment, because back in the day playing, we weren't playing for the crowd. But the fact of the matter is, it falls under entertainment. But a high level, obviously, when you make it to the league, whichever league it may be. Well, you're in a league, and there's a cycle in your relationship. There are playoffs, meaning there are times when you just got to win. There are times when what you are learning will lead up to something that you got to master for your family. And when you put that together with a couple or a husband or a wife, we really are looking at, or even boyfriend, girlfriend, engaged, you know, man and woman. When we put that together, we're really looking at whether or not the championship pedigree is there. And you have some enemies, you have some obstacles, some things that the two of you have to work through together. And we're going to take a look at that. So if a champion is a person or a team that works through rivals or obstacles, then a championship couple does the same thing, defeats or surpasses all rivals. And one of those rivals, folks, is pretty interesting to even think about in our part 5 session. And it is what we call, or you've heard, I'm sure, the term limiting beliefs, limiting beliefs. So let's take a look at this concept and put some plans together to help your cause. Number one, when you talk about championship couples, or by definition, I should say, of what a limiting belief is, it is a belief, starting with that. It is a belief. A limiting belief is a belief. Now, please know, belief runs everything. The invisible be, that invisible part of you that causes you to think, speak, and act. Those little things underneath that you don't see are the biggest things that make life what it is for you, as well as for your spouse or your significant other. So, a limiting belief is a state of mind. A limiting belief is a belief about you. It's a belief about you that restricts. Now, why would we believe something that restricts? You know, there's a snake out there that most of you don't like. I don't particularly like them either, in the sense that, you know, I don't interact with them, called a boa constrictor. It's called a boa constrictor for a reason. Part of that name has to do with what it does. It constricts. And if you look at the constricting of the strength of a boa, it gets animals first by its mouth. That's how we get in trouble. That's also how we bless. Choose it wisely if you are part of a championship couple team. Use the mouth to grab. And once the mouth grabs it, what ends up happening is then it brings it into the body. That's what happens, because what we say affects us, hopefully positively. If it's negative, then it's negative affecting. When the boa brings it into its body, it then coils around it because it's trying to ingest it. It's trying to bring what it caught into life. Did you hear that? Championship couples bring what they catch into life. Now, it has to do something first. It has to, in this case, kill the other animal. So it's squeezing it, it's constricting it. By the power of those muscles working together to literally remove the life out of what it's trying to eat, that animal ultimately succumbs. And based upon the size of the animal, the boa, I know this is a crazy example, but anyway, the boa then adjusts its jaws to be big enough to eat whatever it is. If it's a small animal, it doesn't have to do a whole bunch. And then, of course, it has eaten. And then that process allows the nutrition of that animal to cause the boa constrictor to live and, get energy from food. Again, it's a weird example, but you won't forget it. If your couple, if you and your spouse are going to do well, if you and your significant other are going to move to the altar, you're going to have to catch some things. And I'm talking about, in this case, the catching of a championship pedigree. You got to catch it. Some things are caught and some things are taught. And sometimes you got to get the teaching and sometimes you got to catch it. I hope you'll catch this, because the couple has to work together. You and your spouse have got to work together. You work together to make a baby if you are mommy and daddy. You work together to get to the altar if you're married. You work together to even start having conversation, even if you're just beginning on your first or second date. You got together. Why? Because you caught something. He caught your eye. She caught your attention. It was the words, the eyelashes. It was something that caught your attention. What did you then do? You brought it into your body. In this case, your mind. You brought it into your mind, maybe even into your heart. And you said, you know what? I want to be around that person more. Now it's being, all other people are being removed from option, or from the option, or from a consideration, better word. So they're now out because you're trying to restrict your activity to the one person that you hope to constrict, not kill, not suck the life out, not, overtake their life, but bring them in. We're going to bring them into you, where the two of you ultimately can become one if you take it that far to the altar. But the bottom line is that the same concept occurs in the wild as it does in relationships. And championship couples have got to understand what they're catching with their mouth. Got to understand it. Because if you do not understand what you're catching, you won't understand what you're constricting. You won't understand perhaps what you are consuming, which means you will not understand what you are becoming. It's so vital that you know what you are catching. All right, so once that happens, let's take a look here at the rest of this process. Is a limiting belief is a state of mind about something that restricts you in some way. Now, please understand that when you are in a relationship, you are restricted in some way. You got on a ring, you are restricted in some way when it comes to additional close relationships. Why? Because this relationship, the married relationship, brings you close to the person that you caught. And if you caught them, her, him, or he caught you, or she caught him, once you're caught, then you need to be taught how to remain together. Because you want this to be a blessing, not just you endure till the children are older and then y'all go your separate ways. That's not the goal. So you got to learn some things really about yourself, while you think you pick up all the issues you don't like about your spouse or your significant other. Mainly I'm dealing with the spouse right now. Close contact should not just reveal what's wrong. It also ought to reveal what's wrong with us, what's wrong with them. It should also reveal what's wrong with us. It should teach us about ourselves. And if you're doing this the right way, you'll learn a lot about you just based on how you respond in a relationship. It's not about, quote, you being happy. I understand that it is. But championship couples understand that sometimes practice on the court is not happy time. It's not fun time. You're having to clean up. You're having to clean up things that people said or clean up things you may have said. That's not fun. But as a team, you stay together, right? Till death do you part. You keep it moving. You keep walking this thing out day by day. Because ultimately, while you may think the grass is greener on the other side, if you're on the other side, perhaps you turn that grass brown and you're getting ready to turn the next layer of ground or the next yard brown. So what can brown do for you? Water it. That's what you can do. But you get where I am, right? So there are things in this relationship, your married relationship, as well as your dating relationship. If you want to be with the person that you're connected with, you gotta a bunch of stuff's got to go, right? All others, forsaking all others. By the time you get to this stage, all right. So if a limiting belief is a state of mind that about you. The belief is about you. It's not even about the other person. You can cast doubt on others, like I doubt that you can do that, or I don't believe you can do that, and that's fine in the sense that maybe you're at least aware of what you're doing. But honestly, that person shouldn't be affected by what you believe about them. But what ends up happening, unfortunately, is in couples that don't defeat the rival of limited beliefs, they're so concerned about what the other person is doing that they lose sight of what they should be doing. Now, please hear this. This is not about, well, I'm being myself, you be yourself. It's not that. It's about you being everything you're supposed to be. That spouse will see that. It's very clear. If you do everything that you're supposed to do, that spouse is going to see that. Your spouse will see it. But too many times people are doing right or doing better, hoping that the other person will go right along with them doing better. It might work that way, but are you telling me that you're gauging how high you go based on how high they go? That's not how this works. You are supposed to go championship couple style, leading the way. When you know right, do right. It's very simple. In theory, it may be difficult based upon your will, the center of your soul. See, if your soul is out of control, you do what you want to do when you well please. You don't think about the limits that marriage brings and the blessing that it brings. And because of that, you're kind of all over the place. And if you are, it's hot and cold. It just depends on the weather outside. And that's not how you want to live, because championship couples understand term limits. Not talking about your marriage. I'm talking about the terms that have been introduced that create limits. The terms that have been introduced that create limits. Now, listen, I know that the guy conversation goes something like, well, all I'm doing is looking. That's not all you're doing. See, championship couples understand what they really are doing, not what they hope they're doing. In other words, if you are undisciplined in your relationship with your significant other, it's going to show up, because please know this: if guys are seed planters, girls are seed incubators. I'll put it to you like this: if the seed of distrust is sown, you might just find it growing at home. I'll say that again. If the seed of distrust is sown, you might just see it at your home. And if that's the case, don't start blaming her. You planted the seed. I'm talking guys, girls. At the end of the day, the seeds are planted in your thoughts first before they become speech, before they become actions. So championship couples understand limiting beliefs and their ill-timed effect on a relationship. You don't want to be sick because you didn't understand that a limiting belief could make you sick. So these are beliefs that everybody has that limit them. Now, again, I'm not talking about limiting you in every single area, but wherever it is limiting you. For example, some may think, I don't think I can stay in this relationship. That's a limiting belief. Why? Because she don't cook right. Well, because she's too loud, or because she's a mama's girl or a daddy's guy, boy, girl. Whatever. That's a limiting belief that you're departing because you're not choosing to believe that you can stay and help. You can stay and lead. You can stay and be the example. How about to just be an example to the one that brought y'all together? Oops, that would be you. So now you're abandoning you. Of course you are abandoning you, abandoning you if you're abandoning your significant other because she came from you. I hope this makes sense to you. See, limiting beliefs, they are an enemy. And championship couples, they outlast, they defeat these rivals. And limiting belief is a rival. Sometimes you have couples doing this, one who is growing, like spiritually. Unfortunately, it seems that women grow in marriage spiritually faster, and men are down here because of whatever limiting beliefs. I'm just going to put it out there. It's not because she's more spiritual. It's because you have limiting beliefs, and vice versa. If you're like, man, we're going to make a lot of money, we're going to do good, and this, that, and the other, and she's like, I don't think that's going to work. It didn't work last time. Well, I didn't do that the last time. I did something else. See, didn't work before. It's not going to work now. What's her issue? Limiting beliefs. What do limiting beliefs do to serve a purpose? They make us feel good. What? Yeah. Because after all, if we don't expect nothing, we're not disappointed. Are you kidding me? I am not kidding you. If you don't have an expectation and it fails, whatever you're trying to do or someone else, no big deal. But when you believe it and you put your all into it and you expect this thing to work and it doesn't, the degree of expectation and what you get, that's the distance of how far you have to fall. And to hit the ground at 5 feet is one thing, but at 50 feet of great expectation, it hurts. And you got to get over it. Got to get the wind back inside of you, and you got to get up and dust yourself off. That stuff doesn't feel good. And so some people have just adopted, I'm not going to hope for anything, so that if I fail, I don't have to fall. It's a crazy way to live. It's a low way to live, especially when you consider your design potential, which is a whole nother piece, which I'm not going to go into. But I want to get to some of the ideas that I want you to pay attention to here when it comes down to how to disrupt it. So in the last 15 minutes, I'm going to disrupt limiting beliefs. I'm going to give you some tools that you can use to help with limiting beliefs. And listen, don't just say, hey, baby, listen to this. You listen to it and you get it. Well, I don't have any limiting beliefs. Well, see, that just ain't, it's not true. If that's true, then you have accomplished everything in life that you wanted to accomplish. Everything, financially, spiritually, in community, and in your family. And if you have not done that, there's some limiting beliefs there. Well, it ain't my fault. See, now we're talking about blame. There's a whole set of modules on blame and how blame loves to work with victimization, and but blame is buddies with victimization, and how they work together. It is sinister. Dark forces have some weapons, but they can be unseated if you know the truth. So when you deal with the process of how we get out of limiting beliefs, whatever they may be, again, family, financially, spiritually, and in community, because you're in community, family, friends, social, etc. You have a family. That's where you start all of this activity, and then financially, you're in an earth. We're in an earth that has financial requirements, bills, and things of that nature, investments, growth. And then, of course, spiritually, don't leave that out because you do not go to church. You are a spirit being. Please don't misunderstand this. You are a spirit, you have a soul, and you live in a body. Now, who you serve is up to you. But you do have a spirit, or you are a spirit, you have a soul, and you live inside of this body. And please understand, you are not a human trying to have a spiritual experience. You are a spirit trying to have a human experience. Please get that. It will help you when you take a look at the limiting beliefs that hopefully you can identify. All right. Number one, is it true? All right. So let's take your relationship, and you're a lady and guys have just not done you right, done you wrong. And the song B flat minor, you don't like them, but you're going to try one more time. But deep down inside of you is a limiting belief. And that belief says to you, all men are dogs. Why? Because that has been, to some degree, let's just say if, in this example, that has been your experience. So you are branded with the thought that leads to speech, that leads to actions that indicate, but it's just a matter of time. You might be taller, you might have more money, but you are still a who let the dogs out dog. And I know you're a dog. What is it? Dirty dog down, dirty dog. I forgot how it goes down. Anyway, you're a dog. You're a dog. And since you're a dog, I'm just gonna be, aware of protecting myself from you. Okay, this is how you work on that limiting belief. Or let's say y'all gonna always be broke. Because I spend money, I'm a giver. I'm a giver, honey. Praise the name. I'm a giver. I give, I give, I give. So your money burns through your purse, through your pockets, through the floor. It don't matter. As soon as you get it, it is no more. That's how this thing rolls, baby. And that's just all there is to it. I'm a giver. Okay. So you're a giver and men are dogs. All right. So whichever way it is, man saying this, woman saying this, don't matter. If it is branded inside of you, you believe it. Okay. So nobody has to tell you to believe, because belief comes by the more you hear it. And you've seen it and you've heard it. Men are dogs. You've seen it and you've heard it. I'm a spender. So given that that's the belief, and what do beliefs do? They limit or restrict. Limiting beliefs restrict progress. I gave that definition to you. What we think about ourselves is restricted. So we think that we're only, you in the lady's case, only will attract a dog. You, man or woman, you're just going to spend because people need what you have that you work for or somebody gave you. That's the case. Now, how do you disrupt a limiting belief that is silent, large, and out of control? It is flat out in charge. How do you upset it, disrupt it? Here's number one. You have to ask this question. Is it true? Is it true? Is what true? Is it true that when it comes to you, there is no other option that you have than to let money burn a hole in your pocket? Is that true? Is that the only option? Is it true that that's the only option you have? Okay, men are dogs. Is it possible that that's not true of all men? Just the ones you've dated? Which with 8 billion people on the planet, let's just say 2 billion are men, and you're telling me that all men are dogs? See, that's a limiting belief. And what it really does is it attracts after its own kind. What you talking about, Willis? I am saying that if you believe that you attract dogs, you will attract dogs. Well, I didn't say I believe I attracted dogs. You said, if this is you, all men are dogs. So if you are dating a man, roof. And so if he is attracted, he must be, limiting belief, a dog. You got to ask yourself that question. Is that true of every man? I mean, every single one. Scandinavian, African, Cuban, Latin lovers, Jamaican, Serbian, Israeli, Ethiopian. Every single man is a dog. See, the limiting belief has got to be attacked with that question. And a lot of times people get in trouble when they use words like always, never, and every time. Every time wrong word, limiting belief alert, limiting belief alert. Never, you don't never, they don't never. Limiting belief alert, limiting belief alert. What's the other one? Always. I always see never, every, and always. These are bad words for you, and they are a great atmosphere for limiting beliefs to grow. Got to get rid of it. Number one, is it true? Number two, do I have all the information about that? Do you have all the information about, let's move to the second example, which is I'm a giver. So I don't keep any money. I just blow through it, baby. That's it. I'm spending because I'm enjoying my life. I'm not going to leave any money for anybody. And I love helping other people, so I give my money away. Number one, what research have you ever done when it comes down to what happens to people who blow through money like you currently do, if you do? Have you done any research? Do you have any more additional information about why that's such a good position to take? You know, some people think that when it comes down to money, you know, it's made to be spent. You know, second question, is everyone in the world in agreement with this? And if I don't care what they think, yeah, but you care about you. And there are some people who used to be like you in this area, and they found some things out after having done the research. They did a little bit more digging, and they found out that they didn't have all the answers. They may have had the emotional stimulus for the act, but they didn't have all the answers. A third thing here is, do I even know if this works? You just keep spending. I mean, why is that even a thing? To just constantly spend and not ever save. What does that say about you? Does it say to you that you don't even have enough patience to wait because you got to spend? So now we get into motives. We're not going to deal with it, but I want to help you with the limiting belief by asking you to ask the question: do I have all the information on the subject? Number three, uh, what can I learn? What can I learn from what I used to think? What can I learn from this? And then I put, what did I learn? Not what can, what did next? What can I learn? What did I learn? Number two on this deal is, how can I use what I've learned? Could I maybe give some guys a break if you're on that side? Or give girls a break if you're on that side? Maybe give spending a break if you're on that side. Maybe stop blaming everything on the devil. Maybe I can learn that I did it. It wasn't him after all. Okay. Another thing, why was the learning valuable? What did I get out of this learning? Did you get anything out of it? Did you learn anything? Did you learn anything from this? See, championship couples have these kinds of championship conversations because you got to find out whether or not what we're doing is working. Okay. And then the final piece here is, how else could this have been done? Is this the only way? I don't even understand there's more than one way to skin a cat. I don't know what that means, but there's more than one way, apparently. So the question is, how else could this have been done? You got a check, you didn't spend it. Maybe you put it on a Cash App card. Maybe you put your debit cards in water in a jar and put it up for 30 hours, 3 hours, 2 days. I don't know. Is there another way? How else could this have been done? Is there a possible way that, here you go, could it have been said differently? My conversation, can it be different? What about, is there another way to do this, period? And then finally, how beneficial is this for others? How beneficial is it for others who don't ever go out and try because you keep stealing the opportunity from them because you provide the crutches? These are just thoughts. These are thoughts for championship couples to think about, because you're going to have to defeat limiting belief because it's an enemy. I hope this helped your cause. Listen, we got more free resources for you, and you can shake a stick at. Number one, Facebook group, baby. The Relationship Doctor. Go to Facebook, find us, and join that group. Get inside of the conversation, and let's mix it up some more and help some more people. Number two, free strategy session. You want some additional coaching? This is the iceberg tip. There is so much depth to this to work on your specific and individual situation as a championship couple that you may need. You can go again to the Calendly website there and book an appointment. Second thing you can do is, or third thing you can do, free, is download a free resource, which comes from calvintibbs.com, and it's how to coach your way out of a bad relationship, or what we call purpose deficit disorder. If you are not working things out as well as you would like in your couple, in your championship relationship, we can help you with that. Again, go to calvintibbs.com, learn how to coach your way out. Very powerful resource. Underneath all of this, y'all, is something called purpose development. It is the development of why you are here. It answers the question, why am I here? What am I supposed to do? How can I improve? Underneath it, there's a resource. This one's not free, but it is an investment that you will enjoy and benefit from. It says it right there. Just go to https://drtibbs.samcart.com. There you go. When you go there, then hit // /y-r-u-here. Why are you here? That's all you need to find, is why are you here? When you take that link, use that link, Listen to that resource. It's going to help you immensely. And then finally, single men. This is talking to the couple with you're not married yet, you're trying to get it together, and you're on your first date or maybe your second date, and you really need to go a little bit deeper on where that man is. And that man needs to go deeper in terms of where he is so that he can be a leader in that relationship. When it comes down to it, go to calvintibbs.com and take the Man Made for Marriage survey. Take the Man Made for Marriage survey. It's going to help you. It's going to bless you. It's going to be great. Speaking of great, we're out of time. I hope it was great. It was great for me. I hope it was great for you. Look forward to getting together next time we do Relationship Dr. Sand. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.